Our next story is in the tiny southern African country of Botswana. It is the second largest producer of diamonds in the world. Russia is the first. Last year, Botswana sold diamonds to the value of $3.5 billion. That's nearly half of the country's GDP. Now, as you're about to see, the diamonds aren't just bringing in cash, they're also creating jobs.
For 2 years, Tlokeleng struggled to find a job after finishing school when she was offered a trainee position at this diamond processing factory. After theory classes and working on carbon models, she's now practicing to polish a real diamond.
I'm dealing with an expensive thing, so every time I polish, I make sure I do slightly so that I'm not damaging the diamonds. Hey, I live with fear. Because they are very expensive, and when you cut it, a problem.
Tlokeleng is one of 100 trainees learning to cut and polish diamonds at this factory, which is owned by an Indian company that invested in Botswana. For years, the country has been pushing to not only export rough diamonds, but also to attract companies that process them here too, adding value and creating jobs. Now more than 30 companies cut and polish diamonds locally.
Certainly in Botswana, the government is quite pro-diamond industry. It is the main industry for Botswana. Ease of doing business in Botswana for diamond cutting and polishing is quite a vital thing why people are easily able to come here and set up their businesses.
Landlocked Botswana was once one of the poorest countries in the world until it discovered vast diamond deposits. In less than 20 years, it had turned itself into a success story as well as a middle-income country. A small population just below 2.5 million people, good governance and economic management have all contributed greatly. But the success wouldn't have been possible without this mine in Jwaneng, the richest diamond mine in the world, employing more than 6,000 people. The government struck a unique deal with the world's biggest diamond corporation, De Beers. Each side owns 50% of the mine. It's a profitable partnership, as Jwaneng has produced about 80 tons of diamonds in 4 decades.
This is the richest diamond mine by value in the world, and basically we are the backbone of Botswana's economy.
And pending demand, they could still increase their output.
Since Russia, the world's biggest diamond producer by output, is facing sanctions, the second biggest producer, Botswana, is eyeing a bigger market share.
Russia currently can't export diamonds to major markets like the US, and diamond prices have spiked by 20% since the beginning of the war. Mining companies and the government here are only cautiously talking about possibly filling this gap, but economist Rudolf Boy doesn't believe they should.
They should take advantage of the crisis in Europe. The war in Ukraine is very painful. I watch news every day. I don't like what is happening there. But, and on an economic point of view, the government of Botswana should have started to promote the Botswana diamonds, such that, these are the best diamonds. Those are now blood diamonds. The Russian diamonds are now blood diamonds.
Back at the diamond processing factory, Tlokeleng is hoping to get a job as a polisher when she finishes her training. And chances are good. The company is expanding and constantly hiring new people. In a few weeks, they also want to start producing jewelry right here in Botswana.
That report from DW's Adrian Krish. He also sat down for an exclusive interview with Botswana's President Mokgweetsi Masisi. They discussed how the country plans to get more out of its diamond industry. But as Russia is actually the world's largest diamond producer, Adrian began by asking the president if Botswana will benefit now that Russia is facing sanctions across much of the globe.
Initially, speaking purely from a commercial point of view, you may have thought that there would be benefit to the diamonds. But if you know for the fact that the Russian diamonds take about 30% of the market in the West, that 30% cannot be immediately replaced by anybody. That's a risk. We are in the diamond business for the long haul.
Your economy is very much diamond dependent. You've been trying over the past years to get more parts of the value chain to happen within the country. Where are you standing at, and is it still a long way to go? Or are you happy with the current status quo?
Our engine is rocking along. We are charging, we are determined, we want the value chains to be developed in country. We want to do this through our own production systems. We want to do this through with our own company, the Okavango Diamond Company. You might know of it. We're going to ramp up its participation in the diamond space. And we're in very deep discussions with the producers and the manufacturers, and we would get more value out of our diamonds.
You're currently negotiating a new long-term agreement with De Beers, the biggest diamond company and the major partner of the government of Botswana. What are you hoping these new negotiations will achieve?
Well, if you look at it this way, we're negotiating with De Beers, but in De Beers, we're also negotiating with ourselves. 15% of De Beers is ours, right? So we have an inherent interest in sustaining this relationship. So we're negotiating for the good of both of us. So we do not lose sight of the necessity to lock this down, seal it, and close it. So, we'll get it done, and we'll get an outcome that is mutually beneficial and good for producers, manufacturers, jewelers, consumers, and investors in the value chain pipeline.
But you're reported to not be really happy about the amount of diamonds that are still leaving the country in a rough form, with that there are not enough diamonds that are being processed currently in the country.
Yes, so obviously that's what we're trying to ramp up, but it's improved a lot because the number of factories has increased. It's not 8 more, it's 30 plus that we have in Botswana. And that means these are being processed to some point. Obviously our intent and our interest is in processing as many as possible to the highest level and then selling them.
Now, if you look at Botswana, it is one, if not the positive example for development on the continent. What is it that other countries on the continent can learn from Botswana, and could you possibly even be a role model for other countries on the continent?
Yes, in Botswana, being the longest continuous democracy in Africa, it stands to good logic that we ought to be a model, and that is the number one priority. Once that system of governance and is established and deeply rooted, the rest follows, because investment and development follows stability and predictability of governance. Trust comes in. So your multilateral partners come in, your banks come in, your investors come in, and your people participate in that.
Governance is the major secret?
Or fighting corruption is extremely important. And our purpose for being in government is to do it for the people. That is it. Because when you get the public good enhancement in the investment of that, everything else grows.